What the mainstream media doesn't want you to know, as we welcome back our friend Denny Carter to the show today on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Hello, Denny. Company man t-shirt today. I like it.
Yeah, I got my Roto World NBC t-shirt because at NBC, we tell you what the mainstream media has hidden from you all week.
So, Denny, why don't you kick us off right there? What do you got for us to kick things off for what the mainstream media doesn't want us to know?
Yeah, it's tragic. Look, I watched CNN yesterday for 17 straight hours.
Yeah.
I swear, you asked my wife, asked my kids. They were begging me to stop watching, but I had to see if CNN was going to mention Demarcus Robinson. And guess what, guys? They didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Typical.
we have Demarcus Robinson, the de facto wide receiver one for the Rams, now that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are down with injuries, 50% rostered in Yahoo leagues. And he's a great start this week. Who else are they going to throw it to beyond Robinson and your guy, Jordan Whittington? I know you guys have talked him up, and I think he's a good play as well. But yeah, it's a tragic thing. We're talking about a Rams defense, and another thing CNN never talks about, the Rams neutral passing rate, 65%. Okay, that's top 5 in the league. We have a real pass-heavy offense here with the wide receiver one in the offense available in half of leagues. It should not be that way. Go pick him up. Go start him.
Look, yeah, I mean, I'm with you too. I mean, I didn't watch 17 hours of CNN, but like I've scrolled a lot of the mainstream media, and none of them talk about the fact that no one has a higher snap rate through 2 weeks on the Rams than Demarcus Robinson. He's playing 92% of the snaps. He's seen an end zone target in both games. You know, you think about last year, those 5 games where he had at least 5 targets. Over the past 2 years, when he's gotten at least 5 targets, he's averaging 14.1 fantasy points per game. He's obviously going to get at least 5 targets here because they got, him and Jordan Whittington is the only 2 people to talk to. And I just wonder if, Denny, do you think it's because everyone in the mainstream media has Demarcus Robinson on their team and they just don't want to let other people in their leagues know about it? Is there a conspiracy theory going on to keep Demarcus Robinson from the masses?
I think you're onto something, Matthew. And, I've talked to my friends deep within the media about this, and I do think that there is a cover-up in the works, and it's wrong. And people watching the show, they need to know what's going on here. The media refuses to talk about Demarcus Robinson. It's so sad, really.
Yeah.
Denny, what are the news networks hiding from us with Jonnu Smith right now, and why are they doing this?
Look, I called the Associated Press the other day, and I said, why are you not writing about Jonnu Smith? I after his week 2 usage, and let me tell you about it, because obviously you're not going to hear about it anywhere else. Yeah. Jonnu Smith against the Bills in week 2, almost a 100% route rate before the Dolphins benched their starters late in that blowout against the Bills. He ran from the slot on 60% of his routes. He was targeted on 26% of his routes against Buffalo. And you say, well, I didn't know all this about Jonnu Smith and his usage in week 2. Of course you didn't. Of course you did. The mainstream media, the dishonest mainstream media doesn't want you to know, right? So that's why I'm telling you right now, he is a good play in an offense that's going to be checking down constantly in week 3.
Yeah, the lame stream media forgets to mention that this week, that Seattle, who Miami plays this week, the Seahawks last week gave up 109 yards to Hunter Henry. Like they don't want you to know this. They're keeping it from you. Completely biased media as well. Listen, to your point, 19% target share in week 9 there, Denny. By the way, just tell me so you mentioned at the top of that you called the Associated Press and asked them why they aren't talking about Jonnu Smith. What was their response?
Who picks up the phone?
Right. They picked it and they
1-800-AP. If you just call 1-800 Associated
Hello,
Press.
this is us. This is the Associated Press.
Yeah, 100%.
I have their number. I'll post it online. I don't care. I'm not afraid.
No.
And they said, what are you talking about, sir? And then they hung up, which I thought was rude.
Yeah, rude, and a clear denial. Clearly, they're hiding something.
Yep.
Because if they were an honest and open media, they would have engaged in conversation with Denny.
It's questionable, Denny.
It's very questionable.
Shut it down.
They shut it down. That's exactly what they don't want. That kind of pressure. They don't want that kind of heat.
No, they don't. Denny, I think you are so good that you may single-handedly propel NBC, the national broadcasting company, into the mainstream media.
I'm
if
hoping.
you keep up with your form in these segments. I want to know, Denny, why said media will not talk about Ray McCloud, who has been a much larger part of the offense than expected.
Yeah, okay, so we saw a shift in the Falcons offense last week. Of course, you're not hearing this anywhere, but 90% use of 3 receiver sets last week. I think that's what they're going to do going forward. That's what Zach Robinson gets from his Sean McVay roots in his offensive scheme design. So that means Ray McCloud's going to be on the field a lot, okay? Maybe more than you want, but it doesn't matter. Despite him wearing a horrible running back number, 34, I believe, it's just hideous. He is seeing a lot of routes. He is tied for first on the team in receptions, and this week I think that the Falcons are going to have to pass a lot against the Kansas City Chiefs. You could do way worse as a PPR scam than Ray McCloud.
Denny, one more for you here, and this one I know is very close to your heart and bothers me as well. Why are the networks not talking about kickers? And is there one kicker specifically that's being buried in the news?
Yeah, no, I Connor, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm going to try not to get emotional. But the mainstream media will not talk about kickers ever, okay, which is a conspiracy unto itself. Blake Grupe is someone they could easily talk about, guys, because he has 5 field goals. He's 5 for 5 through 2 weeks. He is attached to a high-scoring, high-octane Saints offense. The Saints are going to be in a potential shootout this week with the Eagles. The Eagles are giving up the 4th most field goal attempts per game. The Saints are in the red zone 4.5 times a game. It's just all lines up for a big Blake Grupe week. Of course, you turn on your local news station. You're not going to hear this, okay? But I'm delivering it to you free of charge, by the way.
Yeah, they're suppressing it. They're suppressing Blake Grupe talk. Is it clearly? Do you think it's it is? And I mean, you believe like I do, Denny, that this is a widespread conspiracy among all the mainstream media to keep this information from the people that know it.
Why don't my kids know who Blake Grupe is? And that's what I want to know.
Why isn't it taught in schools? Why isn't this taught in schools?
No, I don't have an answer. No one will answer the question.
Yeah, 100%. Let's you and I go to the next parent-teacher association meeting and bring this
Blake
up.
Grupe?
Yeah, talk about with Blake Grupe. We could get him, by the way. Honestly, I think we could. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.